You are listening to the Life, Hope, and Leadership podcast with Nick Shabrinsky, a transparent, honest, and encouraging podcast to equip you through real-life experiences.
Hey, what's up, beautiful people? Thank you for jumping in on Life, Hope, and Leadership with me, Nick Shabrinsky. I hope these podcasts are encouraging you, inspiring you, pushing you, challenging you, helping you change your world. And most importantly, I hope that in them, if you are a Christian, you are growing in your walk with God. If you are not, that maybe you are allowing some healthy curiosities show up in your perception and acknowledgement of Jesus Christ. I promise you, He's really awesome. If you have questions about that, but don't be afraid to message me, email me, comment on my Spotify podcast section and whatnot. But anyway, if you are loving it, make sure you are liking it, following it, commenting, and thank you for those who have decided to be monthly supporters on Spotify. You rock. Big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. So this podcast is a little late just because it's been really crazy busy on my block. But I still wanted to produce it, and I thought it was important for, basically for the regard of what it is. It's actually a 10 things I learned from Mom, and Mother's Day, special, and it's special to a lot of people. And you know what? It's still special to me. My mom has been off of the earth for 5 years, like going on 6 years in August. And so, part of really growing in your life, growing in your hope, and growing in your leadership is learning how to take the hit, learning how to take the blows, learning also to distinguish between hits that you take because of your lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom, lack of understanding. And sometimes the hit is just because you were, in the vicinity. So it might not have had anything to do with you. It might have been people you were kicking it with. It might have been in environments you chose to be around. And sometimes they're not hits at you at all. It's just life. And I think that a lot of people struggle in their life when they don't know how to discern the difference. And so I make fun of it often when I'm teaching. And I hate to say even make fun of it, but I acknowledge this statement that people say, everything happens for a reason. And it's like, well, not really. Some things happen because we made bad decisions. Some things happen because it's life. Like for instance, my mother passed away of cancer, ovarian cancer. I'm very grateful for how long we had her in our life after she was diagnosed. I think it was what's called stage 4. And you typically don't even make it past 5 years. My mom was kicking butt for 8. But I don't believe that I can go back and go, yeah, my mom got cancer for a reason. Now, yes, if we want to look at the just highest, most obvious form, we live in a contaminated world, contaminated things, contaminated stuff. And we can go into the details, but I don't believe everything necessarily just happens. I think a lot of times people go, well, that, God's will. And it's like, come on, dude. It's not God's will that anybody dies or perishes, but that everybody comes to everlasting knowledge of Jesus Christ. It was never God's will for sickness, disease, but all that to say, 10 things I learned from Mom. And so I wanted to give a special one. I miss my mom. I want to encourage you, learn how to distinguish between blows you're taking because of your own decisions or lack thereof. Learn to take the blow from deciding if you're going to be around the right people. If someone you're with is, holds up a bank and you're with them and you're like, man, it just ain't right. Well, you got to choose your friends better, homie. And then you also have to learn life ain't fair. And I'm going to actually do a podcast on that one day. Maybe I'll do that on Father's Day because my stepdad taught me that one. Life ain't fair. But 10 things I learned about Mom. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Number 1, I learned don't give up on what God has placed in you. And I actually take that all the way from my mom literally being pregnant with me. My mom had a miscarriage on her first child. Her second was my brother, who is 8 years older than me. And then the third was my sister, who my mom had super complications with and barely made it through that pregnancy. And then when my sister was born healthy and beautiful and awesome. And she's 19 months older than me. And then my mother was pregnant with me. And when she was pregnant with me, she was already in a dire situation. Things were not good. And then when she was further on in the pregnancy, I believe that there was, some conversations. People were trying to push her to terminate pregnancy because of the risk of having another child. And then my mom had a lot of complications with me, was bedridden. They were, highly monitoring the pregnancy, and then realized while she was bedridden, there was a prolapse cord, and they pulled me out 9 weeks early. I was 3.5 pounds, and I was 9 weeks earlier, and just crazy story. But all that to say, I learned from my mom, she was like, look, I'm not giving up on this thing. I'm not giving up on what's in me. I'm not giving up on my child. I'm not giving up on my kids. And my mom had some major grit. My mom went through a bunch of crap, some of it because she made bad decisions, some of it because bad decisions made her. And some of it was just life, man. But my mom did not give up on the things inside of her. She was artistic. She was creative. She was funny. And in that, she continued to express her arts and her gifts and her talents. And so my mom just taught me, taught my brother, taught my sister, taught everybody who knew her not to give up on things that were inside of you. If you had a gift or a talent, creativity, if you had a dream, something, my mom was not going to give up on what God had placed inside of her. And so I want to encourage you, there's something inside of you, something that you're carrying, something that is special about you. Don't give up. Don't give up on it. Make sure that you learn to articulate the special things that God has placed inside of you. Second thing my mama taught me, always say I love you. My mom would not get off the phone without saying I love you. You couldn't leave without saying I love you. She was going to hug you. She was going to give you a kiss. She was going to hug your neck. She was going to tell you I love you. And it was funny because you could tell my mom bye on the phone, and there would be 7 byes and 8 I love yous. And it would be, all right, bye, Mom. Okay, I love you. Okay, I love you. Okay, I know you got to go. Okay, I love you. Bye. Okay, I love you too, Mom. Bye. Okay, okay. And by the way, I love you. I love you so much. Love you. Okay, love you too, Mom. Bye. I can just hear her saying it. And, she wouldn't leave a voicemail. She wouldn't write you a card. She would not write you a note. She would always tell you, I love you. And the reality is because you never know if this is going to be the last time that you get to say, I love you. And so it's a little emotional even thinking about it. And it's hard to even share some of these things with you, but I wanted to share them with you. And, I'd love for you to think about, what did you learn from your mamas? There might be good things. There might be some bad things. There's things in here that kind of are, are bad stuff my mom went through, or even things maybe that you learned from your mom or from your dad or from your siblings that you go, you know what? I learned not to do that because that ain't some good stuff. So, but these ones are great. One of them is always say I love you on the phone. Always say you love you when you're leaving. You just never know, and mean it. Never be afraid. Just to, I love you and I mean it. I actually know a story of somebody who they went through a divorce, and they went to the in-laws, and it was really a shame, man. They said, hey, we're going through this divorce, or we're going to end up getting divorced if things don't change. I think that your daughter could really use a conversation. Maybe you guys could just call her, tell her you love her. And they said, we don't say that in our house. I just think that's insane. Like, man, you don't tell people you love them. That's dangerous. All right, number 3, always look for the glitter. My mom was full of glitter, and she just loved glitter. Anything that sparkled, she loved it. She wore glitter. She made things with glitter. My whole life, I'm not kidding you. My whole life, I had glitter on my face. I would go to middle school. Hey, dude, you got glitter. Hey, I'd go to elementary. Hey, man, you got glitter on your face. I'd go to high school. Hey, man, you got glitter on your face. And I'm sure I probably had some glitter on my face even when I moved out, because glitter just goes everywhere. My mom was an artist, and everything she did had glitter on it. There's this really funny video that we have, and my mom was at Disneyland, and the fireworks were going off, and she's just doing circles with her camera trying to look at all the fireworks, and you just hear her say, oh, the glitter, the glitter, the glitter. My mom, just for some reason, she never gave up on the glitter. She never gave up on beautiful things. She never gave up on just enjoying just the magic of it all. And so that's really special. So look for the glitter, man. Look for the silver lining. Look for the beautiful things. Enjoy the beautiful things of life, and find the glitter in people. Find the glitter in crappy situations. Find the glitter in anything. My mom was good at that, man. She just had a knack to keep smiling, to stay positive and full of faith and optimistic. She was just cool like that. Number 4, don't return evil for evil. My mom went through a bunch of crap, man. I remember she had people at her job that gave her a hard time. She had some that she loved, some that just hated her. She went through life, multiple marriages, painful situations, abusive husbands, domestic violence. She went through the pain of watching her, her children be assaulted. And that was a whole situation that came up in our lives where our second dad, my mom's third husband, and my sister and I's second dad went to jail for abuse and for the things he was doing to us. And that's a much deeper story than this podcast is going to get. But my mom never returned evil for evil. I can literally think of like a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire life where I heard my mom say a foul thing about a person or get angry. But she just refused to talk smack on people. She refused to be negative. She refused to let violence and hatred and anger come out of her. It just wasn't in her. It wasn't in her. That was something so special about her. Never return evil for evil. Number 5, be a good kind of crazy. I learned this from my mom. My mom was nuts. My family is crazy. My aunt, crazy. My aunties, man, they're just crazy, man. But I learned from my mom, just be your own kind of crazy. If you hear some noise, garbage truck outside, just loud. But you got to take the trash out, right? Hey, so yeah, be a good kind of crazy, be your own kind of crazy, but be a good kind of crazy. And I think it's important that you realize that nobody is normal in the world. And I think it's dangerous whenever you start to think like, I got to be like the Joneses and act like the Joneses and have what the Joneses have. You got to be your own kind of crazy, your own kind of special. My mom was just funny. She was 4'9", running around. She was just hilarious. And I want you to be that. I want you to wake up today and go, I'm going to be my own kind of crazy. I want you to learn it from my mama. My mama left the earth, but your own kind of crazy can stay. Let the best of her come at you through this podcast. I hope you put it in your arsenal and just become a good kind of crazy. Number 6, something real special my mom did. I went to school for computers when I was in high school and went to Votech school. And I had learned how to fix and build and program computers at a young age. I was always very interested in it. I thought it was very cool. And my mom would break the computer all the time. She just, from playing on it for 30 minutes, she'd be like, oh, the sound card quit working, or this quit working, or that quit working. So I got very frustrated and was like, all right, I'm not fixing this anymore. And my mom would be like, hey, can you show me how to do this? And I'm like, Mom. So then I ended up moving away because of college. And there was no one there to fix the computer anymore. Well, my mom got into photography, and then photography went digital. And my mom wanted to become a professional photographer. I think this was so cool. So my mom literally picks up photography, becomes a professional photographer, goes to computer school, goes to Office Basics school, learns Microsoft Windows, Excel, learns web data, learns building a website, learns digital photography, learns Photoshop in her 40s, late 40s, 50s, 60s. I was so impressed with my mom that she was willing to learn anything at any time. This is pre-YouTube. This is like she had to go places. She had to go to school. This wasn't online courses. My mom actually picked up and said, you know what? I'm going to go back to school. And I want to encourage you. You can learn anything, anytime, if you're willing to learn. I learned that from my mom. She was just awesome like that. You can learn anything, anytime, if you're willing to learn. Number 7, take more photos. And anybody who knows me or knows my mom knows right off the bat, my mom took 10,000 photos a day. But sometimes when I look back and you're looking for a memory, you realize, man, I wish I would have took more photos. I want you to learn from my mom. Just take more photos, man. My mom captured every moment. And I used to think it was very annoying until now I look back and I go, wow, look at all these great photos I have of my mom. Look at all these moments. Look at all these memories. And my mom never wanted a moment to go by without it being captured. And I used to think, Mom, you just want these for more photos. But I realized that she treasured every moment because she found the glitter. Number 8, go to Disneyland. Well, actually go to Disney World. And here's why. My mom, her whole life, I remember she was like a Tupperware chick or something like that when I was a kid. And she had to go to Orlando for like a conference, a work conference or something when I was a kid. She went to Epcot Center. She came back with like a Figment piggy bank. And She was like, I was going to go into Magic Kingdom, but I would not go without you guys. She told my sister and me that she would take us to Disney World one day. Well, things got worse and worse and worse financially for us, and things got real hard. And then finally there was stability, but we got older, and we got to this place where we never went to Disney World. And then my wife and I got married, and within our first year of being married, we had an opportunity to go. I told my mom, hey, I'm real excited. I get to go, blah, 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 blah. And my mom still had never got to go to Disney World. Well, when my mom got sick with cancer, there was a lot of like, what do you do now, and bucket list and blah, 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 blah. But I remember I looked at my mom and said, Mom, don't live like you're dying. Live like you're living. And she picked up one day, took my nieces and my sister, and they went to Disney World. And then they came back, and my mom went again. And then she went to Alaska, and she did all these things. And so my encouragement is, if you have dreams, places you want to see, things you want to do, start planning for them now, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. And I'm so grateful that my mom got to go experience some of these things on earth before she passed away and went to heaven. And I'm sure it's a lot better where she's at, but she got to see some things. And so I just think it's really important that you go to your Disney World, go to some places, do some stuff, do things that are in your heart. Don't put yourself into a financial detriment to do it, but plan ahead, start planning, and make time to do it. Number 9, I'm going to wrap this baby up. Got to get going. You're stronger than you think. And I think it's really important that you realize that. And based on everything I've already said, if my mom kept going, you can too. And I want you just to know that. I learned that from my mom. You're stronger than you think. There's nothing you can't get through. Watching her go through chemo for 8 years, watching her battle the marriage situation she was in, and finally her 4th marriage. Thank God for my stepdad. What a healing and a hope to our home. My mom just taught me you're stronger than you think. And I want you to hear that today. No matter what you're going through, maybe you're missing a mom, a dad, sibling. Maybe you're missing a daughter or son. I don't know. But you're stronger than you think. Keep going. And then last but not least, before my mom passed away, I had just asked her as a son and as a pastor, I said, hey, Mom, are you scared? And she said, it's God's body. He can have it when he's done with it. And I learned that from my mom, that at the end of the day, everything we do for the Lord. And whenever we're done, that's it. And I hope that whenever you're done, I hope that people can make lists of things they learned from you. And I hope most of that list is really good stuff. So I want you to be encouraged today. To all you mamas, happy Mother's Day. If you know somebody who needs to hear this, maybe be encouraged. You're stronger than you think. Keep going. And it's God's. It's all God's. Give it back to him in this life and in the next. May he get all the glory. May it make you better. Anyway, thanks a lot for jumping in. Life, Hope, and Leadership. I hope you're loving the podcast. Make sure you like, share, comment. Like I said, thank you to everybody who's supporting it. Have a great day. Change your world this week.
You are listening to the Life, Hope, and Leadership podcast with Nick Shabrinsky, a transparent, honest, and encouraging podcast to equip you through real life experiences.